Nicola Sturgeon's promising up-to-date information on Scotland's economy and cross-border trade with England in advance of any second independence referendum. A number of opposition parties insist the upcoming election must focus entirely on COVID recovery rather than the Constitution. Here's our political correspondent, David Wallace-Lockhart.
The Scotland-England border. Though the SNP say this election could ultimately lead to a second independence vote and Scotland rejoining the EU, plans for how this border would operate haven't been drafted. There's no economic analysis of independence either. The SNP leader says this will all be available before any referendum.
I believe it is right to only ask people to make a choice of that magnitude and of that importance on the basis of quality, up-to-date information. That's what we did in 2014, and it is what we will do again.
The Scottish Labour leader is keen to talk to supporters, less keen to talk about referendums.
We can either choose to argue about Brexit, independence, about currency, about borders, all those old arguments, or we can choose to focus on the NHS, jobs, education and challenging the climate emergency. Let's not go back to those unanswered questions from the SNP. Let's instead answer the problems we have across our country.
The Conservatives are adopting a similar position.
I think people across Scotland understand that the next 5 years has to focus on our recovery, on rebuilding, and we will end the division in the next Parliament if we can take the threat of another independence referendum off the table by stopping an SNP majority.
The Lib Dem leader, getting some ski lessons, thinks things go downhill when we focus on the Constitution.
Liberal Democrats want to put recovery first, and in order to do that we need to cut mental health weights. We need to support people in the community, but we also need to support the police, who are having to pick up the pieces of mental health problems in our community.
Hoping to pick up votes, the Greens are outlining an optimistic vision of independence.
I think Scotland has a wonderful future, a future in which we don't see oil rigs up and down our coasts anymore, but we see more wind turbines, more tidal turbines, where we see communities supported by local community energy projects.
The waters could yet get choppier as we enter the last full week of campaigning. David Wallace-Lockhart, reporting Scotland.